Hey friendo, Steve here. Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a little while since I've been here, but hey, I'm making a big return, just like the subject of today's video, CM Punk, who, yes, seemingly is making a big return to AEW in about 2 months, if the current reporting by folks like Sean Ross Sapp and Dave Meltzer is to be believed. Looks like June 21st, Dynamite's coming through Chicago, and that's where they're going to have the big return of CM Punk go down. Now, I was looking at the plans for CM Punk's return to AEW and what they want to do with him, and it's kind of interesting, and I've got some thoughts on it, so I thought I'd drop one of these rambly videos here. I'm a little bit pessimistic in terms of believing this is going to work. However, I do have some suggestions for Tony Khan. I know he watches Wrestle Juice. That's a lie. I don't think he watches Wrestle Juice. That'd be cool if he did. Kind of feel more pressure if he did. Anyways, let's go ahead and dive into this. So right now, apparently the plan is to bring CM Punk back June 21st. In the meantime, have some meetings with some of the talent that might be hesitant to work with CM Punk. We're talking about guys like Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, perhaps the Young Bucks, who by all accounts want nothing to do with the guy. And so have these meetings, but then also sort of makes CM Punk the centerpiece, or at least the main event attraction of the upcoming Saturday AEW show. That's right. They're going to have another show, this one 2 hours on Saturdays, on like TBS or TNT. I forget which one. So the people that don't want to work with CM Punk, or theoretically the people CM Punk doesn't want to work with, won't appear on that Saturday show. They won't have those opportunities. They'll just be on the Wednesday Dynamite. Now, if that sounds like a weird situation, it is a weird situation. I've never heard of sort of like a brand split, which is kind of what this is, based off of people not wanting to work with one person. That's kind of a weird situation. And I kind of had an idea as to how they could improve said situation. But first, let's take a look at all the factors involved, all the chatter that I've seen on the internet wrestling community, various sites, social medias, YouTube comments over at Going in Raw or on Twitter or whatever. Number one, Punk does seem to be a ratings draw. If you look at the ratings these days, I believe I was reading this thing on PW Torch. The first 11 weeks of this year, the average rating for AEW Dynamite was around 909,000 in the total overall viewership for the first 24 hours that Dynamite was live on Wednesday. Going back a year, when Punk was around, the first 11 weeks of 2022, the average rating was around 998. It was close to 1 million every week on average when he was around. Now, I don't think he was like a massive needle mover. It's not like 25% of their audience was lost when he left. And some of this can be attributed to typical year-over-year ratings drop, thanks to things like streaming services, et cetera, new ways for people to ingest their viewing experience. It's why comparing ratings from 2023 and let's say 2018 is just not a wise move, because everything changes in the digital media landscape. That being said, it is clear that Tony Khan has metrics and statistics to back up the idea that CM Punk is a draw. It's kind of silly to think that he's not. So it's also understandable that Tony Khan would want to put all that animosity aside from the brawl out situation and bring CM Punk back. Bringing him back makes a lot of sense. Let's talk about the other sort of big thing, and that's the idea that a lot of the top name talent in AEW might not be interested in working with him. If you look at the names of people who seemingly are on the outs with CM Punk and people who he's already feuded with during his first run in AEW, it's names like Mox, Jericho, Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, MJF, Darby Allin, right? Those are sort of the significant names that he's either feuded with, or I should say this, that he's feuded with either on camera or off camera. Now, that actually still leaves a lot of names at a higher level that he hasn't feuded with or seemingly is cool with. I know Adam Cole is friends with the Elite. However, there hasn't been any reporting out there to suggest that Adam Cole wouldn't be cool working a program with CM Punk. I feel like they probably would be cool with that. Bryan Danielson, of course, has worked programs with Punk back in WWE. I don't know if he would have an issue working with him now. They could go back to the MJF. Well, there's also a ton of secondary names like Wardlow, Hobbs, Orange Cassidy, Swerve, Keith Lee, Malachi Black, guys who haven't yet hit that main event level, although you could make the case for Orange Cassidy. That guy does crazy numbers on YouTube. So guys that aren't necessarily, those top shelf, been around for a long time, former WWE type guys, you got a ton of people in AEW. Tony Khan has built a fairly deep roster, so there is actually plenty of talent for CM Punk to work with, even names that he hasn't worked before and names that we don't know that they have problems with CM Punk. Here's the major issue with making him the focal point of a brand new show, and this is something that you simply cannot get around, is that at his age, at this point in his career, he seems to be injury prone. Prior to his injury, when he first won the title, remember when he jumped into the crowd the next Dynamite, he broke his foot doing that, and then he had to be gone for a couple months. He came back, and then immediately at the All Out match is when he tore his triceps, and that kept him off for 9 months. The problem is at this point, and that was preceding that. So before that, he had around 20 matches for AEW. That's not a ton of matches. However, if you have a schedule like Brock Lesnar, it is a ton of matches. And that's what I would propose to Tony Khan. Number one, don't make him the focal point of any show, because as soon as you advertise CM Punk as the reason to be there for a Saturday night show, he'll get injured and he won't be there for that Saturday night show. And the main selling point for that Saturday night show will be on the shelf. There's simply no way that CM Punk is going to I seriously don't think he's the kind of guy who would alter his wrestling style or change things up or dial it back a notch. That's one thing that I really liked about CM Punk from back in the day, is that he really did seem to leave everything in the ring. So that's one major thing that you're not going to get past with CM Punk at this point. He did his 20 matches and then his body started falling apart. There's no guarantee that that's not going to keep on happening. So banking everything on this Saturday show around him, probably not a great idea. What they probably should do is simply Brock Lesnar his schedule. Have him come in for big pay-per-views, for Forbidden Door, for maybe big themed episodes of Dynamite, like Winter is Coming or whatever the other ones they have. There's a lot of themed episodes of Dynamite, but they have like the bigger ones, like a title change happened at Winter is Coming, like a world title change happened there. So you just build like the big pay-per-views around his matches, or not build them around those matches, but you feature him at those pay-per-views. And during the time in between those pay-per-views, you just let the guy heal up and rest up. You just tell him, hey, look, man, you're not going to wrestle on Dynamite every week. To his credit, during that time that he was around, he was wrestling, quite a bit. He was only there from September of 2021 until he won the title in May of 2022, if I'm not mistaken. Then he was back in August because he hurt himself right after that title win. So, that's 7 months. He wrestled 20 matches, 3 matches a month on average. That's almost weekly on Dynamite. And of course, he did a bunch of rampages. He wrestled Bobby Fish for some reason. Probably the way Tony Khan might want to think about going about this is not just keeping him on his own show, which could preclude other wrestlers from getting opportunities if for some reason CM Punk didn't want to work with them. I think probably the better way to do it is just bring him in for big events like they do Brock Lesnar over in WWE. Have him come in, give him his own locker room. Don't have anybody, if you don't want to deal with him, you don't have to deal with him, you don't have to see him. You just sort of show up. He just shows up. He does what he's supposed to do. He can still work with young talent. He can still get young talent over. But that way you're limiting to him about 6 matches a year as opposed to what he did before, which was about 20 in 7 months. So Yeah, that would be my suggestion. Just Brock Lesnar as schedule. Have him come in. And here's the thing also, is that clump of episodes surrounding pay-per-views would be even more important. And, absence makes the heart grow fonder. And so while he's not there, people will be wanting to see him more. And then he shows up and it's a special event. You make the guy a premium live event. That's what you do with CM Punk. That's how I feel about the situation. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I know a lot of y'all are going to be like, I don't need to see CM Punk, because that's what we get over at Going in Raw, just people saying that. But there's also a lot of people who like CM Punk still, and I think just the whole situation around it will cause a lot of drama. I guess my main thing is, if you're going to sort of try to do CM Punk and FTR versus the Elite, try to make a story out of it beyond just, hey, we didn't like each other in the back. My friend bit you. I think you could do more interesting stories than that. That's why I kind of like the idea of Punk versus Jericho to kick things off, because I think Jericho's a good storyteller. And I know you guys are going to say now he's a momentum vampire. Well, you know what? That's like your opinion, man. And I want you to leave your opinion in the comments below. Check out this video over here. And it's good to be back. We'll see you guys around.